Hello, friends! How is everyone today? Excited to get through Exodus. We only have 4 more chapters left, so we're getting through it. I really want to do a. I gotta see if the Prince of Egypt is still on the Amazon stuff, because I know that you can do that whole thing on here. But I might have to have a Prince of Egypt party. Because I love that movie, and I think that'd be fun. But I have to do it like on Friday or Saturday or something. We'll figure it out. Hope everybody's having a awesome day. We're gonna read 37 and 38 today, and then we'll do 39 and 40 tomorrow, and we will be done with Exodus. So that'll be exciting. But I think the next one, this is Exodus, Leviticus. The next one's Leviticus. And that's not gonna be as fun. Yeah. Because Leviticus is like all the rules and stuff. I just remember reading it in our young adult Sunday school. Like, we were going to read the Bible through a year, and we all got super bored with Leviticus, and we ended up not doing it. So, yeah, that happens in church. There's just certain parts where you're just like, this is tedious, and this is repetitive, and no thank you. But we will move on through it. Yeah. So I guess I'll just start reading. I am doing the NIV version, Exodus 37 and 38, if you want to read along. And we'll get through all the Exodus. Move on soon. Thanks, race car lover, for following. Prince of Egypt watch party. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that would be fun because we've gone through all of the Exodus stuff, and I think a lot of people would just have fun hanging out and watching the movie, and I don't know, we'll figure it all out. I gotta figure out like if it's even on Amazon, because I know like on Twitch they do where you can actually have those watch parties if you have an Amazon account. So I'll have to figure out how to do all that because I haven't done all that yet. But yeah, I would love to do Prince of Egypt watch party with whoever wants to join. I think that would be a fun time. All right, on to our reading. Exodus 37, the Ark. Bezalel made the ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, a cubit and a half wide, and a cubit and a half high. He overlaid it with pure gold, both inside and out, and made a gold molding around it. He cast 4 gold rings for it and fastened them to its 4 feet, the 2 rings on one side and 2 rings on the other. Then he made poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. He then inserted the poles into the rings on the side of the ark to carry it. He made the atonement cover of pure gold, 2.5 cubits long and a cubit and a half wide. Then he made 2 cherubim out of the hammered gold at the ends of the cover. He made 1 cherub on one end and the second cherub on the other. At the 2 ends he made them one piece with the cover. The cherubim had their wings spread outward, overshadowing the cover with them. The cherubim faced each other, looking towards the cover. What? She's never seen The Prince of Egypt? Oh my goodness, it's so good. I mean, even I think even as just a secular tale, that's one of the best animated movies for like Bible stuff, I think. Like a lot of the other stuff is like not as good. I feel like growing up, a lot of the Christian stuff was like subpar when it comes to a lot of that stuff. But Hollywood did a good job, I think, with The Prince of Egypt, so it's good. The table. They made the table of acacia wood, 2 cubits long, a cubit wide, and a cubit and a half high. Then they overlaid it with pure gold and made a gold molding around it. They also made around it a rim of hand breadth wide and a gold molding on the rim. They cast 4 gold rings for the table and fastened them to the 4 corners where the 4 legs were. The rings were put close to the rim to hold the poles used in carrying the table. And they made from pure gold the articles on the table, its plates and dishes and bowls, and its pitchers for the pouring out of drink offerings. The lampstand. They made the lampstand of pure gold. They hammered out its base and shaft, and made its flower-like cups, buds, and blossoms of one piece with them. 6 branches extended from the sides of the lampstand, 3 on one side and 3 on the other. 3 cups shaped like almond flowers with buds and blossoms were on one branch, 3 on the next branch, and the same for all 6 branches extending from the lampstand. And on the lampstand were 4 cups shaped like almond flowers with buds and blossoms. 1 bud under the first pair of branches extended from the lampstand, a second bud under the second pair, and a third bud under the third pair. 6 branches in all. The buds and the branches were all of one piece with the lampstand, hammered out of pure gold. They made its 7 lamps, as well as its wick trims and trays, of pure gold. They made the lampstand and all of its accessories from 1 talent of pure gold. The altar of incense. They made the altar of incense out of acacia wood. It was square, a cubit long, and a cubit wide, and 2 cubits high. Its horns of one piece with it. They overlaid the top of all the sides and the horns with pure gold, and they made a gold molding around it. They made 2 gold rings below the molding, and 2 on each of the opposite sides, to hold the poles used to carry it. They made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. They also made sacred anointing oil and the pure fragrant incense, the work of a perfumer. The altar of burnt offering. They built the altar of burnt offering of acacia wood, 3 cubits high. It was square, 5 cubits long, and 5 cubits wide. They made a horn at each of the 4 corners, so that the horns in the altar were of one piece. And they overlaid the altar with bronze. They made all of its utensils of bronze, its pots, shovels, sprinkling bowls, meat forks, and fire pans. It sounds more like a barbecue to me. I mean, I guess that's kind of what burnt offerings were, huh? There's like a barbecue for God. They made a grating for the altar, a bronze network to be under its ledge halfway up the altar. They cast bronze rings to hold the poles for the 4 corners of the bronze grating. They made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with the bronze. They inserted the poles into the rings so they would be on the sides of the altar for carrying it. They made it hollow out of boards. The basin for washing. They made the bronze basin and its bronze stand from the mirrors of women who served at the entrance to the tent of meeting. That was like a short little thing that really didn't need to be put in there, but okay. The courtyard. Next, they made the courtyard. The south side was 100 cubits long and had curtains of finely twisted linen, with 20 posts and 20 bronze bases, and with silver hooks and bands on the posts. The north side was also 100 cubits long and had 12 posts and 12 bronze bases, with silver hooks and bands on the posts. The west end was 50 cubits wide and had curtains with 10 posts and 10 bases, with silver hooks and bands on the post. The east end towards the sunrise was also 50 cubits wide. Curtains 15 cubits long were on one side of the entrance, with 3 posts and 3 bases, and curtains 15 cubits long were on the other side of the entrance to the courtyard, with 3 posts and 3 bases. All the curtains around the courtyard were of finely twisted linen. The bases for the posts were bronze. The hooks and the bands on the posts were silver, and their tops were overlaid with silver. So all the posts of the courtyard had silver bands. The curtain for the entrance to the courtyard was of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely twisted linen, the work of an embroiderer. It was 20 cubits long, and like the curtain in the courtyard, 5 cubits high, with 4 posts and 4 bronze bases. Their hooks and bands were silver, and their tops were overlaid with silver. All the tent pegs of the tabernacle and of the surrounding courtyard were bronze. The materials used. These are the amounts of the materials used for the tabernacle. The tabernacle of the covenant law, which was recorded at Moses' command by the Levites under the direction of Ithamar, son of Aaron, the priest. Balzal, son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made everything the Lord commanded Moses. With him was those names, man. Oholiab, son of Ashgamach, and the tribe of Dan, the engraver and designer, and an embroiderer in blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and fine linen. The amount of gold from the wave offerings used in the work of the sanctuary was 29 talents and 730 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. The silver obtained from those in the community who were counted in the census was 100 talents and 1,775 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel, 1 bekah per person, that is half a shekel, according to the sanctuary shekel, from everyone who had to cross over to those counted, 20 years old or more, a total of 603,550 men. The 100 talents of silver were used to cast the bases for the sanctuary and for the curtain. 100 bases from the 100 talents, 1 talent for each base. They used the 1,775 shekels to make the hooks for the posts, to overlay the tops of the posts, and to make their bands. The bronze from the wave offering was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. They used it to make the bases for the entrance to the tent of meeting. The bronze altar with its bronze grating and all of its utensils. The bases for the surrounding courtyard and for its entrance, and all the tent pegs for the tabernacle, and those in the surrounding courtyard. Dun dun dun. Well, that was a fun little verses. Just talking about the different stuff that goes in the tabernacle. That's a lot of, like, gold and silver and bronze. I have to wonder, like, where they got all this stuff from. I guess, like, if you actually believe it, like, I don't believe that these things actually happen, but for people who do believe it, like, when they left Egypt, supposedly, they took a bunch of their stuff, and that was fine with God, because they had been enslaved by them, I guess. So, I guess that's where they probably got most of their stuff, according to, you know, the Bible. But I don't know, it just seems kind of pointless to drag all that stuff around when you're in a desert. It's like, what are you going to use all that for? Obviously, they used it to build a tabernacle, but it just seems like a waste of resources for people. Like, if I was going to go out in the desert and I knew I was going to be in the desert for a while because we were trying to find someplace else to live, like, I think I would take essentials, not like gold and silver, but I would have, you know, food and water and something I can build a shelter with. Like, it's just an interesting concept of different things that people can bring with them and what people find important in that time, when I think food and water and stuff is way more important than, you know, gems and jewels and special things that are gonna use magic to help you. I don't even know. Because they had, like, they talked about, like, the different gems on the ephod and how, like, that was kind of like what was it? Like, there's special things inside of it that if they go a certain color or something, like, it tells the priest. like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm not saying it real well. So, um, but yeah, it's a lot of the same stuff that like it's a lot of magic and a lot of believing that things can magically happen as opposed to, living in a reality where magic doesn't exist and, gods don't exist. It's very much just people's perception. And I get how people back in the day had this perception that there were gods because, you look at volcanoes, you look at, thunder and lightning and earthquakes, like these are things that if you're living on a planet and you have no idea you're living on a planet, and you have no idea where these things come from, and you don't have anything to back it up, like we do, because we have science that says, like, oh, this is why earthquake happens, because of the plates and the shifts in the plates and stuff like that. But they didn't know that. Like, they had no idea. So, they had to go with what they knew at the time. And so, a lot of these people made up these deities, that if you made them mad, they caused earthquakes or they sent fire down from heaven, like, or they made a volcano explode. Um, so, I mean, that it makes sense when you look at it from the perspective of these people did not have the knowledge that we have of the world today as, like, at their fingertips, like we do. I mean, I live in a world today where I'm literally carrying around a mini computer in my hand, and at any time I can look at it and say, is what this person's telling me true? Is what this person telling me line up with reality? And that is a huge reason I think that a lot of people are leaving the church because, you have this technology that can tell you, like, what is true and what is not. And that is a big thing, I think, too, is it was always funny growing up in church because my pastor would always say, bring your Bible to church because you have to make sure what I'm telling you is what it actually says in the Bible. But the problem is they don't say, oh, bring your Bible and make sure, what it says in the Bible is true. It's very much like, oh, you just believe this book is true already. So it doesn't matter what I say other than what the book might say because the book is true. Circular logic. I guess that's a big one in Christianity. Yeah, that was a huge thing though growing up is they always said bring your Bible, make sure you read along with us because we want you to know like we're not making things up. And it's just weird now because I think about it and I'm like, nowadays I have a phone that I can look up and if he's telling me a story and I can look it up online and if there's nothing to back it up, it's like, then how do you know this is true? Like, there's no evidence to back up what you're saying. You just believe it's true because you were raised in it or because someone told you it was true and you believed them. So, and that was my thing. It's like, me growing up in church, it was very much I believed because my parents believed. And I didn't think my parents would lie to me. And I thought, well, not just my parents, but, all the adults in my life in the church. I honestly thought that they 100% knew what they were talking about and that, they had evidence to back up what they believed and that they did not just grow up in it or just decide this was going to be their religion because it's all they've known. And when I found out that that's pretty much how it works, like most of the people like in my church that taught me things and stuff, like they know less about the Bible than most atheists I know. So it's an interesting, I don't know, like dilemma I guess in my life when I figured out that what I was being taught by people who were just taught by people who were just taught by people, and at no point in those teachings did they ever like look into whether the Bible was true or not. Or if they did, it was very one-sided where it was like they only read like books by people who were already on their side and they didn't want to look at anything that would hinder what they already believed. And that's kind of scary in my mind too, because, growing up, I thought that was, my parents protecting me and, keeping me in the bubble. Um, because they didn't want Satan to get after me and like destroy me and stuff. But it's more of like a cult tactic to keep people in the church, because if people actually knew where the Bible came from and actually knew how it was put together, and how some of these stories don't actually line up with history and things, there'd be a lot less people in the church and a lot more doubt. And I don't know if people in the church know that or if they are just oblivious to it. I think a lot of us are oblivious to it, because I had no idea until I started researching on my own that some of the stuff that I found out. So I guess it just all depends on where you're at, and also if you're willing to look into the evidence, because I have a lot of friends that they just aren't willing. Like, they don't want to know if their religion is not true. Like, because they don't think they can handle the fact that this might be the only life they get. Which is sad, because I feel like they're wasting their lives on something that is gonna get them nowhere. And they're spending their lives trying to, like, I grew up in the fundamentalist movement where it was very much like, you have to go out and save as many people as you can and tell them about God and tell them about Christ. And um, yeah, so that was very much pushed onto us as kids. And that was a big deal too, I think, for me when I left. Was like, it's hard. It's hard when these people are your friends, but then at the same time, you're like, but they're not doing anyone any good. Like, they're literally going in and telling people the gospel, like, with no evidence or anything to support what they believe. They just simply go in and, like, tell people about the gospel or tell people about their testimony, and people use that feeling that they get to believe it. And it's, I don't know, that's just kind of scary to me that people can be so blinded by just not, I don't know, looking into evidence. Like, it doesn't matter to them. All that matters is that this is true, because if they die and they cease to exist, they can't accept that. I don't know. I'm kind of on the opposite side of that now, because when I was a Christian, I was scared to death of death. I was scared to death that God was gonna, like, I don't know, find something wrong with me and send me to hell, regardless of whether I was saved or not. And I think being on this side now, it's like, I'm much happier on this side, because I can, read more stuff. I can feed my mind and be more curious about things, and I don't feel like I have to stay in this little box that everybody put me in. And I don't worry about that kind of stuff anymore, because, this is the one life that I know that I get, and I want to make it count, and I don't want to waste it on something that, I don't have any proof of other than what other people tell me. So I think that's a big thing for me, is just, it's a waste of people's lives. It really is. And it's a waste of, like, other people's time too, because, in the church they tell you, like, you need to go out and save other people. And I think about that and I'm just like, for us, whether we're saved or not, like, we have good lives here. But I think about going into third world countries and giving these people this false hope, when they really, like, they don't need Jesus. They need food. They need water. They need clothes. They need medical help. Like, and Christians, a lot of Christians aren't willing to do that. Like, we go to third world countries and we, like, I don't even know, build a house. Like, did they need a new house? Or was that just something we wanted to do because we felt like that's what we needed to do? I just, I just think about like I went on a missions trip in high school to Mexico, and we helped build like the foundation of a church there because they were going to build a new church. And we went down there and we thought we were doing good and like helping people, and we painted someone's house and stuff, but at the end of the day it's like, what did we really do for those people? Like, other than build a foundation for them. Like, most of the time, if we weren't doing that, then we were out talking about Jesus to the kids in the park. And it's like, we wasted so much time that we could have done just helping other people there by telling people about this deity that we don't even have proof exists and not giving them things that they might need. So, yeah, I look back on that now and I'm just like, it was more like a mini vacation to Mexico, and then occasionally we did little Bible things with the kids in the park, but. And then everybody was excited because we all got to go to Disneyland after, so. But, I don't know. I feel like, a lot of people, talk about when Americans go on mission trips, like, it's basically just a vacation because we go down there and we talk about Jesus and we don't do very much else. And it breaks my heart now to think that I did that when I was 16, and just think about like all those kids and stuff who probably needed stuff and we didn't give them anything that they actually needed. We gave them a false hope, and that really sucks. And I feel really bad about that. And I don't want other people to do that, I don't want them to go out and give people false hope. Like, I want them to go out and help other people. And I think that's a big reason why I do this, is because, people need to know, like, other people matter, and we should care about other people, not just because they're gonna be another gem in your crown in this magical afterlife. Like, we need to care about what people actually need and what people actually can use in life to make their lives better, because this is the one life we know they get. And so many religions and cults and other organizations just waste so many resources and so much time on not helping other people, and it really frustrates me. But I do what I can. I'm not like rich, and I don't have the ability to just go help a bunch of people, but that's one thing that I've definitely taught my kids, because we live in a place that has a lot of homeless people. And I very much try to help anyone who I can see on the street and I have extra stuff. Like, I've given them bags of food and water and toothbrushes, and, we used to make these like little, like homeless bags that had like food and toothbrushes and stuff in them, and we would pass those out in like gloves, so like they wouldn't get too cold and stuff, and just keep them in your car. And then when you see someone on the street who needs it, like, it's got like basic essentials that they need. And I think that was a great idea. And just, showing compassion to those people that really are struggling right now, especially with COVID going on, because I think that has caused the homeless population to get way worse in my, like, where I live. And, I want to be a help wherever I can, even if it's just giving them like a little bag with some essentials that they might need. So, and I think that's something that I can appreciate. And hopefully, if you guys want to do the same thing, I mean, Dollar Tree has all that kind of stuff, and then you just put everything in a plastic baggie and keep them in your car, and you can hand them out. So if you ever want ideas to help, but I I think it's important. It's important to see other humans as humans, and not just targets of, you know, we need to save them. We need to help them see who Jesus is because they're going to go to hell. And it's like, stop for 5 seconds and think about their humanity and not about what your God wants. Because I feel like if you actually saw them as a person instead of just another number of people that you've saved, it would really change the entire mindset of Christianity, I think, as a whole. But that's my spiel today. I got off on another tangent, but I think it was good. I hope so. Thank you, everyone who came and watched. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what time. At this point, it's just all over the place, so it's just when I have time to do it, because I've got like a billion other things going all the time. I'm trying to I still have like 2 or 3 YouTube videos that I'm trying to make, and I'm doing this every day. And I'm doing DoorDash every day because I'm trying to make some money, and I don't have a real job right now, and that's really hard with my whole situation that's going on. But basically, I have to have a job that works around my kids' school schedule, so I'm doing all that right now and trying to save money and be in a better place than I am right now. But I still want to be on here and hang out with you guys because, I mean, this is the only adult interaction I get right now, so, yeah. Thank you all for coming. If you want to follow me, Overprotected Atheist on YouTube, Overprotected Atheist on Twitch, overprotectedatheist.com has my merch, and most of my videos. I haven't posted the newer videos on there yet. I need to go on there and do that, but, Instagram, Overprotected Atheist, and follow me on Twitter at OP_atheist. Yeah, I think that's all my, Facebook, Overprotected Atheist on Facebook. Yeah, I think that's all I have. Hopefully tomorrow we can get through Exodus, and then I can plan a Prince of Egypt party for everybody, so hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you all later. Bye!